Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of WWPWW, the greatest podcast in Central Illinois history. We are your hosts, Jeremy, and of course,
Caleb.
Got you! So that's me doing my Kevin Smith comic book man opening. I thought that was funny. I was like, that'll be fun. I'll say each other's names and stuff, and you totally just went along with it. We didn't plan that ahead of time. It just happened, so he picked up on that really nicely.
I just assumed I was going to say the other name that you didn't say.
So. I was just like, Jeremy, and Caleb, he did it, sweet. All right, well, Royal Rumble time is almost upon us, 2 days removed. I cannot wait. Gonna have a little bash at my house. It's just gonna be me and Jeremy.
Yep, we're gonna have a Royal Rumble party. Yeah, with just ourselves.
That's all you need, man. Just whatever,
And your parents in the other room.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, just get out of here. They don't like the graps, so we don't care about them. But yeah, can't wait for that, man. It's gonna be an awesome weekend. It's Takeover tomorrow night, and then the Rumble on Sunday. So I cannot wait. I am so stoked to do this. I'm just speechless. Like I can't. I'm stammering because I'm so excited over.
Absolutely.
That we're getting 2 Royal Rumble matches for the price of one, and we're getting some pretty interesting and intriguing matchups at there, and then also just the NXT Takeover is just usually so awesome. So cannot wait at all. Anything else before we jump into the nitty gritty of the show?
Hey, XFL's coming back.
Yeah.
In 2 years. I watched his thing that he did on Facebook Live, his question and answer thing, and very vague.
Yeah.
Because they don't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
They know that they're not going to. They know they're not going to have a WWE incorporated with the XFL. So at least they learned that part from the last venture, is that we should not have cross-brand anything. And so for that, I respect him to respect them.
Unless you want to have JBL or Corey guest commentate a game or something like that, but that's about as far as it should go.
Yeah, I think Vince is really the way it came across is Vince apparently loves football. It's one of those things that last venture you could tell he loved football, but apparently he's a very big football guy. He just wants to give the game back to the fans, and I think with all the stuff that has happened in the NFL this year, it just makes him think, hey, it's ripe for the picking. We can do another league.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people are commenting that there's the CFL, there's the AFL, there's the college football, there's NFL. Why do we need another football league? And I would say, and I agree with him. A lot of the stuff he said, I was just like, I agree, Vince. Football needs to be year round, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's absolutely right. If people love football, they will watch it year round.
Exactly.
And that's what he wants to do. And to begin with, it's only going to be 10 games, 10 weeks or whatever. It's going to be 8 teams. And so I'm looking forward to watching football in February. Hopefully they begin after Super Bowl.
Yeah. It'd be smart to do that.
I think, and he said it's not a spring league, even though it is. He's like, oh, it's not a spring league. We're going to start January, February. I'm like, you need to start in March, if not late February. So they've learned some things last time.
Yeah, no gimmicks. It's just going to be regular football.
It's football reimagined, kind of evolved. Those are the buzzwords he was using. Here's the thing. They don't know anything.
Yeah. They
want to get fan input, which I think, depending on how they take the fan input, it could be well received, or it could just be the worst idea ever. Because if they get all this input and nobody's there's not a coherent thought in that, they're going to have to come up with their own thing. And it doesn't seem like they've come up with their own concept.
Yeah.
But Vince is very adamant that he's going to hire professional people to do production, professional people to be head of this, and he's going to act as commissioner, but he's not going to be the figurehead of the company. He's just going to be the owner, essentially. Essentially, he's going to own 8 teams and a league, is pretty much what he's going to do. which is interesting. I'm interested in seeing how this goes. I'm excited about it, but for now, we don't know a whole lot because I don't think he knows a whole lot.
Yeah.
Giving himself 2 years, or giving whoever he's got in this venture, he's got 2 years to come up with rules, come up with teams, come up with places, and that's the other thing is I think it's really cool that he's looking at already established arenas to play there, which I think would bode well for NFL teams to come alongside him and say, you know what, we would like some extra income.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how ticket prices would do. I think he needs to really rethink that because I think he's going to lose some money not having ticket prices.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if, like, for the first season or two, they'll just rent out, like, a university, because that's what the Rams are doing now. Like, you know, the Rams are building their stadium, but for now they're playing at the LA Coliseum at USC, which that's, like, one of the biggest, you know, stadiums in not just America, but the world. I mean, it holds, like, you know, 80, 90,000 people. It's huge, you know, I don't know why they wouldn't just stay there the whole time, because they're packing that place, you know, every game. But anyways, yeah, so, like, I don't know if they'll do something like that, or...
Yeah, and I don't know, do you know how, is the revenue shared with the college, or is it like, you know, if they set price, rent it?
Yeah, I don't know if they, like, get a cut of the box office, or if the team renting it just gives them, like, a monthly, you know, rent check or something, or what. I actually don't know how that works.
Because I think it would be cool if Vince could figure out, like, they don't even know the cities. They don't even know where they're going to have it. And so if they could come alongside some of these NFL leagues who need money into the stadium, I'm sure they could figure out prices there. But I mean, I wonder how much an NFL team, if they allowed the XFL to come in, could make on food alone. You know what I mean? Like, say, you know what, Vince, you can keep the ticket prices, you can keep the however much you make there, but we get the food. It just makes me wonder how much that would be.
It does, but yeah.
So what do you think about the XFL?
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, at first you hear it, you're just kind of like, didn't you learn your lesson? Initially. But then when you hear him talk about the new one, it's just like, oh yeah, there's no dumb gimmicks, it's, you know, and he's like, you know, people have been like, oh, would you get rid of halftime? Would you not have as many commercial breaks? It's like both things I think could help. And so yeah, but the more he talked about it, the more I thought about it. It's like, okay, they learned it. They're not gonna do some, you know, WWE but with a football. Not gonna have any dumb gimmicks. They're not gonna, you know, try to make it this, you know, dumb, over the top, attitude era, risque version of the NFL. And stuff like that. And also something he stressed in it was it would be faster, the rules would be clearer, and it would be family friendly. And those are all three things that I think could help it, because, you know, the NFL is pretty family friendly, but the rules are just crazy. Yep. Nobody knows what a catch is. You know, and yeah, sometimes, like, you know, unless you're watching a team that has, like, a really high octane offense, like, you know, the Eagles when Carson Wentz was still there, or, you know, like the Packers when Aaron Rodgers wasn't hurt, you know, it's like, you know, you're not going to see fast-paced football unless you see a team that has, like, a really fast-paced offense and stuff like that. So I think stressing that fact could kind of help out too. And then also, like, all the free agents who, like, you know, you know, like you know, Johnny Manziel, Colin Kaepernick, RG3, like all those guys who you know, who you know, deserve another shot, or, you know, just, you know, whatever, could, you know, maybe this could be the thing that helps them. You know, maybe it could kind of be like what the Arena League was to Kurt Warner, or the CFL was to, you know, many players.
Yeah, a lot of people.
You know, like Warren Moon's probably the biggest one that stands out in my mind. But so yeah, I'm very intrigued, and I'm excited to find out what it is. I hope it succeeds, because I never wish failure upon, you know, somebody who by and large is pretty innocuous, like.
And it's kind of interesting. Like, I'm interested in seeing where they go with this. I actually would love to get my hands on the rule book, the code of conduct, because that was one of the things he stressed a lot, was that if you're not willing to essentially show up, do your job, and not be a punk outside of your job, like that, and that's the reason why people were like, oh, Johnny Manziel can can come to the league. And then when he said that stuff, it's like, well, maybe Johnny can't come to the league.
Yeah, unless he straightens up.
Unless he straightens up because of his past. I respect that because we get too many athletes who come in and think that they're the best player in the world and they can do whatever they want. They can, it doesn't matter if I get caught for drugs. Doesn't matter if I get caught for this. And so for that, I respect it. It's going to be hard to enforce. I think. I respect the code of conduct comments. I respect the simpler rules, but they're going to have to make it safer. And so they're going to have to hire all these guys who have studied helmets, who've studied pads, who've studied all the stuff that would help players in that way. Because you're going to have to have rules that say no hitting the quarterback at a certain point. You're going to have rules that say all these different things. But it's an interesting time. I'm interested in seeing what he does.
Indeed.
It is no gimmicks. That I respect. I think the most of everything is that we're not going into it. It's going to be football and not just a circus.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Me too. Can't wait. XFL mark your calendars. 2020.
Sometime
2020. Sometime. Yeah.
Probably January, February, maybe March.
Yeah, I think March to July. Stretch it out in between there. I think that'd be sweet. I think that'd be sick. So, anyways, yeah, XFL 2020. Now we move on to the talk of the town. The WWE's talk of the WWE town is, of course, 25th anniversary of Raw. This show was just a spectacle. It was huge. It had so much stuff going for it. So many big things, big moments, big returns, big surprises, lots of like, catching up with old friends, taking a trip down memory lane, that's what it really felt like. So a lot of fun for me. Jeremy, you more in-depthly, I couldn't think of the word, so I just in-depthly smushed it all together. In-depthly, smush. In-depthly, what did you like about the 25th anniversary of Raw? What didn't you like? What was the overall vibe of it for you?
Prior to watching the show, I had heard a lot of negative things about it, and so I was dreading it. I was just like going into it, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a horrible show. I can't wait to get it over with. So for this, I will say thank you, Hulu, for making it shorter. I know last week we got together, I was like, oh man, I hope Hulu has it all. After seeing some of the nonsense that was happening, I think I would have enjoyed the whole show. I think I would have enjoyed the skits, but they cut out all the skits that didn't really matter. And so for that, I'm thankful for Hulu for that. However, the Hulu version, I feel, was well done. I liked everything I saw. There were a couple things there was maybe a couple things I didn't like. Yeah, and most of that was the crowd. The crowd kind of sucked at times. The Roman sucks chants happened. There was a beach ball. Come on, New York.
Yeah.
That was the two really, really negative things. I guess I'll start with the negative things. Another con was the revival. The beating of the revival was unnecessary. Those two guys are good at what they do. I understand trying to be like, well, they're going to be pushed because all this kind of stuff. It's like, no, they just buried them a little bit more. And just the shortness of the last segment with Brock and Kane and Braun. You could tell that they were running out of time, and that was super quick. I enjoyed what I saw. I enjoyed the running power slam on the table from Brock, or with Brock. It was just too short for me. That being said, it seems like Raw 25 had just a couple things going against it. One of the big ones that happened is Enzo Amore was fired that day. They had about 3 hours, from what I understand, to rewrite a couple segments because he was key in at least two of them.
Oh, huh.
So when we understand that they had a couple strikes against them even at the beginning of the night, with Enzo being fired, Jimmy Fallon was another issue. Jimmy was supposed to be there majority of the day to cut some to actually tape some backstage things with all of these people that showed up. The whole parade of different personalities. Jimmy Fallon was supposed to be backstage with them. He couldn't show up until the time he did. That was 2 strikes against them, and the 3rd strike for me was WWE being stubborn on pulling the trigger with John Cena and Undertaker. They had in their mind that John Cena was going to face Samoa Joe. He got hurt, so they enter Elias. Now, with that being said, I loved the Elias John Cena segment. I loved that a lot. I'm a big fan of Elias right now. I'm surprised I am, but I love. He stood toe to toe, not just physically with John, but even on the mic. I thought he was pretty good on the mic with John. But Jimmy was supposed to be throughout the whole time. The 3rd strike was the John Cena Undertaker thing. I think that if John Cena would have came out after Undertaker's promo, that would have been better. Because his last comment was, all those people who I've buried can stay buried. And that was it. If John Cena would have came out and said,
I was thinking that too.
I'm not going to be buried. No. Get into space. That would have been beautiful. And they could build it until WrestleMania. If that's what their final goal is to have Undertaker versus John Cena, they can build that. They've got months that they could build that. Undertaker doesn't have to be there the whole time. They could have, because he came into the ring with his not Army of Darkness.
The Ministry of
Darkness. The Ministry of Darkness outfit. I was like, that's cool. I'm glad that they buried the old school Undertaker. Now they're bringing back a fan favorite, kind of Attitude Era Undertaker.
Yeah, that was him during Attitude. Most of the Attitude was that version.
Which I respect. They should have just pulled the trigger and said, John, come in there, because the Ministry of Darkness Undertaker wouldn't have to be there every week. You could have vignettes. You could have dark stuff with John have a fight and the darkness just fall and stuff. You could do some really cool stuff with this Ministry of Darkness Undertaker, and he doesn't have to be there. So for me, those 3 things, it made the show feel horrible to some. That being said, the opening stuff was brilliant. I don't know if people understood this, but Vince McMahon went out and was heel to a plaque. He yelled at a plaque for 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. That was brilliant. And then having Stone Cold come out there and do what he did. That was just a brilliant show. A couple people have said, if they had that on the loop the whole 3 hours, I would watch it every minute of that. So I loved that. I loved Elias and John. I loved the ending to the Miz Roman Reigns match. Yeah. Because I didn't see it. When I was watching the match, I didn't see him undo the thing, and when they replayed, I was like, that's brilliant. They keep Roman strong because he gets knocked out by a small little thing. He gets knocked out, and then he gets another skull-crushing finale. And they give Miz, who rightfully deserves it, to be Intercontinental Champion forever, and to be all honest. The ending of that match was just brilliant, in my opinion.
I just hope, if I can interject,
go ahead.
I just hope this doesn't set up Roman winning the Rumble, not because I'm against Roman Reigns, but it won't endear him to fans, because everybody, including myself, wants Shinsuke to win it and then go on to challenge AJ. So many people want that to happen, and I'm just like, okay, Roman is getting a pretty decent reaction lately, and so I think if he wins the Royal Rumble, it won't endear him. I think it'll just kind of restart the cycle all over again. So, I would hold up. Maybe at Elimination Chamber, they should make it not a title match, but they should make it a qualifying match.
Qualifying or number 1 contender or something.
Yeah. You win, you win the Elimination Chamber match, you become number 1 contender to face Brock at WrestleMania. I think that'd be an awesome time for Roman to shine, is in the Elimination Chamber. I think that'd be cool. Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just like, if you want to do this, the Rumble isn't the way. Tease us, maybe have just him and Shinsuke left, and just like they did last year, be like, oh, he's gonna win because he's Roman Reigns. Oh, Shinsuke won, just like last year Randy Orton did. So But anyways.
Yeah, and I hope they don't throw it away like they did last year. I hope you're everybody's right. I hope Shinsuke does win it. I wonder. I have my doubts that he's going to win it. Not because Roman is in. Sorry, we don't know that Roman's in the Rumble. He's probably going to be a surprise entrant. But I agree with you. I hope he doesn't win. That being said, I really enjoyed that. I hope you're right. I hope he's not going to be in it. I'm trying to think of what else I really enjoyed.
I mean, if he's in the Rumble, that's fine. But if
he wins it,
that won't endear him to the fans. It won't.
Because the last 3 years is essentially. I mean, even though he didn't win it last year, it revolved around him.
Yeah.
It would be the last 3 years if it happened this year. I liked some of the backstage stuff. Oh, I love Jericho.
Yeah.
Elias. That was fun.
That might have been my favorite thing was Jericho and Elias. Like, I just loved how he's just like, you know what happens, and everybody's just like they're just going crazy, and and I just what happens, like. I got you. I was kidding. No, I wasn't. You just made the list. Like, I died. I was laughing so hard. That was hilarious, man. Jericho is the best.
Yeah, I agree. That was my favorite backstage. My second favorite was AJ doing the Hulk Hogan.
Oh,
well, let me tell you something, Mean Gene. I just always wanted to do that.
I know. And
he did a good job.
He did, and it's funny that Mean Gene was like, "Oh, come on!" Like, it was just like, "Not this again." Like, that was so great. Like that. Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
And then another favorite thing was the DX reunion. All of the clique essentially. That was really fun. Seeing Road Dogg be goofy again, that was fun to watch. All their catchphrases. I mean, it was nostalgia driven, and I get that some people probably didn't like it, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Triple H basically being the grown up version of Triple H. I loved Sean's kind of interaction with him, like. I used to be the leader of this group. Now you're just
you're the leader of everything. Yeah,
that was funny. I thought Sean was great.
Yeah, he seemed really loose and fun and stuff. It was cool. He also looked out of breath. Like, I don't know if he was just playing up the thing that he's older, or if he actually was out of breath. But he's just like, like leaning over and heaving. Like, that was funny.
Since he's retired, or at least over the last year when they've used him on Raw, he's done that. He's come out, he's done his little thing, and he would stop. And then he would just and then just do stuff.
It's funny.
Funny.
It is funny. Like, it's one of those things where she's like, I think he's overplaying the whole like, I'm an old man, I can't wrestle anymore. It's just like, dude, look at you. You could still go.
You could still go, Sean. And I respected him staying retired. Let me show you what retirement means.
Yeah.
Go show. I mean, I
had
respect
such a perfect retirement too that it would kind of cheapen it if he came back.
Yeah, and I respect that, and I respect him going to the Performance Center and trying to raise up some quality wrestlers too. So I do respect that. But to see him in the ring and see Triple H, like I said, that kind of the grown up Triple H, like he's not the jerk Triple H that we know. He's I do run everything. I'm professional. And when Sean was trying to tell those quote unquote stories,
that was funny. That was funny.
That was really fun.
They name dropped China.
He did. Triple H, not just they.
Yeah, Triple H did. Like, I'm just like, okay, we're making progress now. Like, I saw somebody on Twitter just be like, so does this mean they're going to start talking about Benoit soon? And I'm just like, I don't think so.
That's different.
That's completely different. Like, I was just like, now, like, they still have his stuff up on the network. You can still view the matches, but they don't have them marked. Yep. They have the cursors or whatever, on the status bar of the video. It just says, World Heavyweight Championship match, and then you're just like, why doesn't it say who's in? Oh, that's why. Yep. Like, so yeah, it's just like, it's never gonna happen. Like, it's a completely different thing. Like, China made a sex tape, Chris Benoit killed people, so yeah. completely different. But yeah, like, so it's like, oh, they're making progress with that. They're done, kind of. Some people think that they're gonna finally induct her into the hall soon. So
I don't think it'd be this year. I think there, at least a lot of rumors are saying that it's not going to be this year. So I think give it one more year. I think next year would be an okay time to do it. But yeah, not this year. I'm trying to think. I think that's about it. That's all I saw that I really enjoyed. Was there? What about you? What did you think about Raw 25?
I loved it. Like I didn't hear that anybody hated it, so that's crazy.
A lot of people
That's
hated it.
crazy that they did, because I like enjoyed every minute of it. I really did. Like there was some stuff that was goofy, like Mark Henry and the Godfather backstage. That was kind of weird. I could have done without that. It was just so like I like Mark Henry, and Godfather's funny, but it was just random. It just felt out of place compared to so many other things. But I actually really loved the APA leading the poker game backstage. Did you hear about that bit, or did you see
I heard
it?
about it because a lot of people were annoyed with the payoff.
I thought it was funny. Yeah, the payoff was a little weird, but whatever. I don't care. But Ted DiBiase was in it, which was the best thing about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it's Heath Slater and Rhino playing with the APA, JBL and Ron, and then all of a sudden you just see big stack of money fall down, and then they're just like, you buying in, and then it pans over and it's Ted DiBiase with the $1 Million Championship.
Nice.
And then he does that laugh, that laugh, and he goes, yeah, I'm in. And then later on he wins a hand, and he just wins everything, and he's just he puts the cards down, he's just he does the laugh, and it's just like I liked it.
Nice.
This whole time I was like Joey,
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
That's a really apt.
It is like looking at it now, how people didn't like it. I'm just kind of being like, why? I'm just sitting there, I like it. So yeah, I thought that was funny. A lot of the matches were good. The Roman Miz one I really liked. Yeah, the whole thing with Miz and Cena was really good, and I think Jericho and and Elias was my favorite. But yeah, the Elias Cena thing was pretty good, but I think the Elias Jericho thing was my absolute favorite thing of the night, probably, just because it's Jericho. And I liked the thing with Rick and Charlotte Flair, and then Alexa Bliss.
Good.
That was funny. I was just like, darling, you're pretty, but you're only the champ because she's on SmackDown. Woo! And then and then he started doing the. And then she walked away, and then they're just like, they look at each other, and then they just look at the camera, and they both woo. Like,
it was a good promo.
I liked that. That was great. How about he's nice to Alexa, and then he just buries her. Like, that was fun. But yeah, the opening was amazing. Vince, people were chanting Vince, thank you Vince, thank you Vince. It was beautiful, and then he just turned it. He turned it so wonderfully, and
I think one of the things I forgot about. The thing I enjoyed most about that was the way Stephanie reacted towards Vince. Stephanie was a champ. Stephanie really did a good job during that whole thing.
Yeah.
They're like, no, Dad. They're saying thank you, Vince.
Yeah.
I know you're hard for hearing, but and then later on, like, I guess I don't have to tell you what they're saying now.
Yeah. That was funny. That really was. And then,
but I agree. When he turned it, it was well done.
Yeah, it was just. It was so good.
He's like, oh, thanks guys for coming. I'll see you later or whatever.
But yeah, then he's just like, plaque, that's what all you losers got out of your teeth. Like, plaque, that's what's clogging all the arteries in your heart. Yeah, that's what that is. I don't need to thank anybody except myself. And then the glass breaks and Stone Cold comes out and everybody just hit the roof. And I was just like, Stone Cold's going to come out. He's got it. And I'm like, yeah. And then he stuttered Shane and then hugged Vince. And I was just like, he's going to stun. He's gonna stun to Vince. Come on, and then he did. It was wonderful. So funny, and he didn't say a word.
No, he didn't.
Stone Cold didn't. He didn't. Now, if you can go on Facebook or YouTube and find his interview backstage that he did, was hilarious. It was awesome. It was
really good.
Perfect in character, 100%. Hasn't lost a step. It was amazing stuff like that. He's just like, Vince McMahon sitting out there saying he didn't need nobody without Stone Cold. He wouldn't it was perfect. Vintage Stone Cold, it was awesome, and so that was really cool. And yeah, it's just I was like, he didn't say anything, he didn't go on and but it was one of the few times where the what chant worked and was actually good.
The only time.
Yeah, probably the only time. Except when Stone Cold is, back in whatever it was, 2002, 2003, where he's talking to Jericho, and every time Jericho tries to talk into the microphone, he just goes, what? What? Mm-hmm. That was about the only other time.
Yeah, and I like what Vince was. I like Vince was trying to convince him not to stun him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a member of AARP now. I'm in a retirement home. No, you aren't.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Both of those things are probably wrong.
Yeah, that was hilarious. And And yeah, like he just, the way Shane sold the second
second
stunner was just amazing. And then yeah, it's so funny how he just puts the beer there, they cheer, and stuff, and then Vince is just, dead, and he's just, and then they, cheer, and then he just stuns him again. And then like the way he sold that second one was just great. And then he's just sitting there just getting all the beer. And it's funny how some of them he drops and then they just roll out to ringside and stuff. That's funny. So yeah, that was good.
The last time he went to clink it, he didn't have another one in his hand. He was like,
yeah, he's just
clinking with his other hand.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, that was awesome. That was great. Loved the DX thing. The Undertaker thing really has me confused and intrigued about, like, so is he retiring? Is this his retirement? Are they gonna pull the trigger on one last match? Which I think the way everything went last year, I feel like it would kind of cheapen how that went down. Putting over Roman big, leaving his gloves and hat and coat and everything, and leaving. I feel like that was a really good ending, and I feel like if he did come back for one more match and it was against Cena, it's nothing to do like with Cena, like he's tarnishing the Taker's legacy or anything like that. I just feel like him coming back for any match after what happened would kind of do that. Like, but I understand that him and Cena never tangled at WrestleMania, and they haven't had a match since like 2004 or something crazy, like some ridiculous long amount of time. I totally get it. So, but it's just one of those things where it's kind of an up and down.
Yeah, and I understand that. I was like that too until he came out in the Ministry of Darkness uniform. Like that's where they need to go. If they bring him back, they need to. The dead man, the old school Undertaker needs to be gone, and put out his new. If he's just doing another match, I think Ministry of Darkness. I wanted the
ABA, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted that, but I'm fine with Ministry of
I
Darkness.
did too. Like, because you and I talked about that and you brought that up to me, I was like, oh man, if they don't do that now, I'm gonna be let down, because that would be such a great idea. Like, that really got my hopes up when you said that. I was like, oh, that'd be so cool. They're probably not going to, but it'd be cool.
But I like the fact that at least he didn't come out in that.
In the coat and hat,
in the coat and hat. Like, leave that aside. I think Ministry of Darkness Undertaker is perfect for a John Cena run. I think, like I kept saying, I think they need to do. Like I said, he doesn't have to be there. They could just do some things, even during the Elias thing. Some random like lights go off or whatever. They could do that. But I do agree with you. I think Undertaker should be retired. But if they're going to do this, each one of his personalities they can retire, and I think it'd be okay.
Yeah, agreed. Very much agreed. And can't think of anything else right now off the top of my head. Yeah, the ending was okay. It was kind of rushed, but it was cool. So guess we can move on to letter grade, then go to SmackDown. Oh yeah, forgot one more thing. In the promo that they played on SmackDown that recapped what happened on the Raw 25, the bit they showed where Stone Cold stunnered Vince. I love how they intercut that with the first time he gave Vince the stunner back in the day. Like how it was like it would cut really quick, like as he was doing the stunner, it would cut back to that first stunner and stuff. And then when he stood over him and did the head, the head thing. Like I love that they, what?
Sorry, I didn't mean to get off track. I just thought, when he was doing that this time, I was like, I wonder what he's telling him.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vince, for coming. Can we come ahead here? Thank you very much. Or just like, what was he saying? Anyway, sorry. It was just in my head.
He's probably saying that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. That's probably what he's saying, but I don't know. But and then they did that, like, yeah, that was really well done, and so they did that on SmackDown, but it has to do with Raw, so I want to say that real quick. Anyways, but yeah, I can't think of anything else, so I guess we can move on. But before we do, the 25th anniversary special of Raw, Jeremy, letter grade, what would you give this?
Looking at the 3 strikes that I would give it, it wasn't necessarily all their fault. It was about 25% their fault for not making it like the best show of the year. I think it should have been the best show of the year. It just wasn't.
Yeah, I think it needed like Rock, just to kind of bring it
balance it out.
And no Edge. Oh, and also Christian, the Peep Show was back.
Oh, yeah,
that was fun. I love Christian. He's one of my favorites. But yeah, no Edge and no Rock was about my only, really.
And who knows what they're going to do in 5 years for the 30th anniversary? You know, if WWE still has, or if Vince still has the WWE, that's another story. But so grade, I'm gonna have to give it a C plus, because the wrestling wasn't. There was some good wrestling, but there was some negatives, like the whole Jimmy Fallon thing. If he didn't show up, I would have just ruled him out. Like, he shouldn't have even been there. That whole thing, I hated what they did with the revival.
Yeah.
I heard about the squash match with the Woken Matt Hardy.
Oh, it really was. It wasn't a squash match. It was quite a while.
Was it?
Yeah.
I heard it was only like 5 minutes or something.
Oh, it felt longer than that. It was a really good match. I liked it.
And then with that, with the Manhattan Center, a lot of those people were unhappy with it, with the pricing, with a lot of different things. With that, I would just give it a C plus. I think it was better on Hulu, like I said, but it wasn't. It should have been better than what it was. So for me, I give it a C plus. What about you?
Well, I liked it a lot more than you did. I was entertained the whole time. There was some stuff that was goofy or dumb or didn't work, but overall, I really liked it. The DX / the Click and the Balor Club, doing the 2 Sweet, that just got me going. That really, I was super stoked about that, and I was just when the end of that segment, when Finn and Triple H walk up, kind of towards the camera and look at the camera and the crowd, and then they do the 2 Sweet. I want somebody to do an edit where it plays the Imperial March in the background of that, because I'm like, that is totally Vader and Palpatine,
right.
That's awesome. Which that'd be a really cool kind of dynamic to do with those guys. But yeah, I really liked that. That was cool. But I would give it a B plus. I was entertained by a lot of it. A lot of it was dumb and goofy, but in a fun way. And I liked close to everything about it. So yeah, I liked it a lot more, and I'd give it a B plus.
Cool.
So.
All right. Well, moving from Raw, like I said, I didn't hate it, but
yeah,
it was also the go home show. There was several strikes for me against it, but not as much as everybody I've watched who hated it. Anyway, so we're moving from Raw to SmackDown. Caleb, what were your likes? What were your dislikes? What were your in betweens?
No, there wasn't much I disliked about it. I really enjoyed it. All the stuff with Cammy, all that stuff was good. AJ was really good on the mic against them. That was good. AJ showing some aggressiveness, some anger, frustration. Yeah, he was, that. That was, the 2 matches. I thought it was kind of funny that KO's was really short. He just immediately puts him in the calf crusher.
There's another reason why.
Oh really?
Yeah, Kevin's hurt.
Oh, he is. Oh,
he's got back issues.
Ooh, hope it's not.
Well, if he's still in the ring, it's not as bad, but it's not good for him.
And then the Sammy match, that one was really awesome.
I agree.
That one was great.
It shows, even though, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. It was awesome. These 2 of the best guys in the world right now, and their back and forth was awesome. All the near falls, I love just the 1, 2, oh, how the crowd gets into it. 1, 2, oh, I love all the, all the near falls and stuff like that, and it was a lot of fun in this match, and Sammy's new the way he ended the match, the Haluva kick into the Blue Thunder Bomb.
Agreed.
Was so cool. So you're basically just taking your 2 finishers and mixing them into one finisher. That's brilliant. That's awesome. Yeah, that was awesome. So yeah, that was probably the highlight of the night was that match, and then the finish of this Sammy's new move. That was wicked. Other things, I really liked the tag match. I had a lot of fun with that. It was Rusev Day, Jinder versus New Day and Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode and New Day
It was.
a fun combo. So yeah, that I really liked. The woman stuff was kind of weird, but intriguing.
Yeah.
Showing Becky, throwing
That was my favorite thing about the whole thing.
throwing Naomi over, and then just
Their
go, and
faces.
then just all the, oh, don't look at me, this Sunday we're not friends, Monday we'll be friends, but Sunday we're not friends. Like, I like that aspect of, and then like Charlotte came out, and it was just like I like it, that was kind of weird, but it was funny. Like, I don't care. Trying to think. The match between Naomi and was Liv Morgan.
Yep.
I liked the match itself was just okay because it was just a storyline thing, really. The way they kept like trying to hit and missing each other, like the way they kept like dodging and stuff each other.
Mhm.
It was like a short little sequence where Naomi like went to clothesline Liv, and Liv like did like a Matrix like
That's
lean
her
back
thing.
and then pops up. And then she tries to kick Naomi. Naomi dodges it. Naomi tries to kick her. Liv dodges it. Like that whole back and forth where they just kept missing each other. I thought that was kind of cool.
I agree.
Like I liked that. But yeah, the match between Shinsuke and Baron, I really liked. That was cool. One of my favorite things is where Baron does his whole like thing where he like slides out, goes around the ring post, then slides back in. And then Shinsuke was gonna do the Kinshasa, and then Baron just like clotheslined him, and he just does like a 720 or something in the air.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome. It was a really fun match, and then the way it ended, Randy coming out and RKOing both of them. That was cool, showing like just everyone building up to. This was a better go home show than Raw was. In terms of setting, building towards the Royal Rumble, it was a lot better in that aspect for sure. And yeah, I really liked. I really liked that aspect of like he is the apex predator after all. He is the Viper. So this is the jungle. All the animals are out for themselves, and he's the first guy. He's the first guy. He's the guy to strike first. So I really liked SmackDown a lot. I thought it was good. If there's anything I'm forgetting, you might bring it up or expand on anything I didn't really touch on that much. But yeah, I for one really liked it. What about you?
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think Raw had the fact that it was the 25th anniversary episode. That's the reason why they couldn't be a go home episode.
Mm.
And so that's a strike against it as well for me. However, SmackDown was a true go home show. Even though there were some aspects like the women, like Asuka throwing all the women out. I didn't even know I didn't get to see that. I knew about it.
Yeah, that was cool.
Asuka throwing everybody out. That was a nod to, hey, it's Royal Rumble this week.
Yeah.
Everything you said was I'm surprised. I'm not surprised we agree because we usually agree on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I agreed with everything you said. My cons are that Naomi won with a sunset flip.
Mm.
What? If it was like a sunset powerbomb,
Mm-hmm.
I understand, but it was a sunset flip. And I know Liv is a smaller girl, but come on, that was dumb. That was a bad ending.
Yeah.
The Riot Squad getting destroyed again. That was pretty sad. And then the only other con was the guy who got in the face of New Day. I don't know if you remember that, where New Day was coming down to do their thing, and they had the pancakes, and they did the pancakes on people, and then the guy that they did pancakes on, like, threw it at him, like it was like they were like, and then and then the face on Big E was just like I don't know what's going on here. Like I thought that was, it wasn't New Day's fault. It was just the people who were sitting there were just jerks, seemed to be jerks. Those were my cons. I loved what Kevin said about the retirees who came out on 25. I thought that was really, really funny. He was like, all those retirees, blah, 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 whatever he said.
That was pretty good.
The promos in the beginning were really well done. The best thing in the night was absolutely AJ versus Sammy. I liked... Here's the thing. AJ can raise everybody he's in the ring performance up. But when you have somebody, Sammy is good, and I don't think people understand that. Sammy is a very, very well-rounded wrestler. And so to put Sammy and AJ together, even though this wasn't necessarily a proper feud or proper match, it was a proper match, but it wasn't like, I don't think they gave them the all of the match. If they were to have a proper pay-per-view match, big pay-per-view match, that would blow our minds. Because like I said, Sammy is just, he is above everybody, what everybody thinks of him. I think the Shinsuke match in NXT proved that.
Oh, yeah.
But having him in the ring with AJ, it just elevates his game a lot more. And I'm absolutely on board with if he keeps this Haluva kick.
That's what I thought it was.
That's how it's pronounced.
What it's supposed to.
It's spelled.
That's what it's supposed to be. Yeah.
But they call it Haluva kick. The Haluva kick into the Blue Thunder Bomb. That was brilliant. I love that ending. I'm interested in seeing what they do at Royal Rumble, especially if Kevin Owens is as hurt as they think he is. He's still able to go a bit, but not as much. I think they'll probably play on his leg at Royal Rumble to get him not to be in the ring as much, and maybe even take the pin if AJ wins. Excuse me. I'm trying to think of what else I enjoyed. Let's see. Oh, I'm still in love with the rolling German suplex. All day long.
Yeah.
Chad and Jay had a really, really excellent match.
Yeah, I agree.
The rolling again.
It just looks so like smooth and like natural. Like the way it flows is just so smooth. Like yeah, it's awesome.
I'm glad they have him for that. There was I think it was Liv who did it. The double stomp in the corner. The double, like, I don't remember how it was, but I thought that match, Liv and Naomi, was fine. It showed that Liv can actually work in the ring pretty well. I think that's just a small smidge of what she can actually do, and so I'm excited to see her in the future. The end of the Shinsuke match, I absolutely agree with you. Shinsuke and Baron Corbin, I want to see that feud. I think those guys could work really well together, especially since Baron is kind of he's the strikes guy as well. I think one of the only ways you can have a really good Shinsuke match is if you put him in with a guy who strikes as well. And Baron Corbin is that guy. And I thought I want to see that match again later on in a pay-per-view. I thought I liked the end of days countered into the armbar.
Yes, that was
pretty cool.
cool.
I really loved that. The RKO out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was.
Not only was that a great RKO, but the camera work on that was brilliant.
Yeah, the way they framed it was awesome. And then on his Facebook and Twitter, Randy actually put a video of somebody where it was like regular pace, and then all of a sudden like Shinsuke, when Randy runs in and RKOs him, runs in, and as soon as he jumps up for the RKO, it goes in slow mo.
Nice.
And then as soon as he hits the mat, it goes into regular mode. It was so awesome. It was so cool looking.
You're absolutely right. Bobby Roode with the New Day was really, really fun. It was a great storytelling in that match too. Or no, sorry, great storytelling in the last match. My bad. In the Sami Zayn and AJ Styles match. Really fun and well done. My other thoughts I had was I felt like Lana was dead after she was thrown over. I don't think she had the to me when I watched it, didn't look like she had the top rope enough. I felt like she just landed face first, 10 feet down or however tall that is. I hope she's okay. And then I just realized that since Bobby Roode is Canadian, there's another Canadian holding the United States Championship. Nobody's talking about that. So anyway, as overall,
nobody's bringing it up, so I guess that's good.
Yeah, nobody cares. Overall, I thought SmackDown was really well put together. I thought they redeemed themselves from the last night, making this this is the go home show, essentially of both Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
I thought that was really well done, and so both shows. I don't know. I've been going back and forth with who's going to win the Royal Rumble, both Royal Rumbles, and both shows did a relatively good job on kind of keeping that close to the best. Even though Asuka, the whole Asuka throwing everybody over kind of alludes to maybe Asuka's gonna win. unless Ronda Rousey is lying and saying she doesn't have a contract with WWE. There's a lot of different thoughts
I
on
think
that.
that would be pushed way too hard, way too fast.
And too early.
And too early. If Ronda came in and won the Royal Rumble in her debut match in WWE, that's.
I think they need to wait until WrestleMania to at least show her.
Yeah, I agree.
That's me. So as far as that goes, Caleb, what grade would you give SmackDown?
Honestly, I would give it a solid A. I enjoyed so much about it. SmackDown is just SmackDown is just so much better than Raw. Like Raw has some great stuff, week in and week out. But this week was an instance where Raw was good, but SmackDown just still was better, and it's an hour longer and didn't have all the nostalgia and star power and stuff. So, I thoroughly enjoyed it. As a go home show, it was good. There wasn't anything I disliked about it personally, and all the wrestling for the most part was good, especially the last match and then the Shinsuke Corbin match. So I have to give it an A just because it's just like, well, I gave Raw a B plus, and this was way better than Raw. So yeah, I give it a solid A.
I would agree, even though I had a couple cons. I don't understand the finish to the Naomi Liv match. I don't like that. It's not enough to be, oh, I'm going to give it a B plus because of that. Like, that's not enough. And so I'm going to give it a solid A too. They did great go home show. I'm stoked. I'm stoked for at least all the SmackDown matches. You know what I mean? All the people who are in the Royal Rumble, all the women who are in the Royal Rumble, all the SmackDown matches. I'm stoked for at least those. So they did a good job. They did what they're supposed to do.
Cool. Well, all right. I guess we can call that good on the recaps and so forth. So now we will move to our predictions. Jeremy, what is first match on our agenda?
All right. Well, I'll leave the Royal Rumbles last and the probable main event last. So we come. I'll go backwards. Thank you, Wikipedia, for letting me see that. All right. First, we got the Usos versus Benjables, or Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. 2 out of 3 falls for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Caleb, who you got and why?
I have American Alpha 2, The Wrath of Khan.
Nice.
That's what I'm calling them. Because of incidents that transpired in Texas last week, I think the Usos will be punished, losing the titles, and then it'll probably amount to nothing else after that. They'll probably just lose the titles and then won't be in the title picture for a couple months. And also because Benjables, whatever you want to call them, American Alpha 2 is a sequel, whatever the Usos called them earlier. They deserve the titles. I would like to see them with the titles. I'd like to see what they could do. So yeah, that's my pick. I think that the Gable Benjamin will win.
Initially, I thought the Usos because I felt like they were going to make the Usos continue to be strong.
Yeah, I did too.
However, I understand the reason why. Reason why you would say that about the Usos. I don't know necessarily that would be the reason why they would lose them. However, with that being said, yeah, Benjables wins. I think they'll set up for the Benjables against New Day because I think they still want the New Day to have the most titles or however it is.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see that as well. Anyway, Benjables versus New Day would be really fun to watch.
Indeed.
So yeah, plus Gable's been phenomenal lately. Like in the ring and even on the mic, he's done really well. Benjamin has been pretty decent on the mic as well. I like that tag team a lot. I like the dynamic. Yeah. All right, we both have the same. So the next match we got is for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan versus Cesaro and Sheamus. A lot of people are saying Cesaro and Sheamus. I believe, and I think, bless you.
Thank you.
I think that they should keep Seth and Jason together at least until the next pay-per-view. And I feel like Rollins and Jordan should win it. That's me. So what about you? Sorry.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I feel like the Raw tag titles have kind of been flip-flopped back and forth too many times.
Yep.
So I feel like, if they are gonna do a storyline with Seth and
Jason.
Gosh,
Yep.
completely blank. Jason Jordan. If they are going to do that, do a storyline where they, become a team and then they split or whatever they have in store, or if they don't have anything in store and they're just playing it by ear, yeah, have them win and keep them together. So yeah, I love Cesaro. The Bar, they're great, but I would keep them the champions also, and I think that's who's going to win. So I agree.
It sounds like at WrestleMania, Seth and Jason is the match they're going to try to do at WrestleMania. At least that's what it sounds like from the behind the scenes. However, I think it's too early to break them up. I think the next pay-per-view is the perfect time to actually break them up, and then lead into.
Or if they break up after WrestleMania, I think right after their match at WrestleMania.
And honestly, they don't really necessarily have to break up until Dean comes back. But
that's so long.
It is so long.
That is so
August,
long,
September,
though.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's that match. We both believe that Rollins and Jordan should win.
Jollins. Yeah, don't call him that. That's a terrible name.
All right, so for the WWE Championship handicap match, AJ Styles versus the tag team of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And I say tag team of because have you listened to their Jericho podcast?
No, I haven't yet.
They don't want a nickname. They don't want.
Really?
They're like, yeah, we don't. Just I'm Kevin Owens. He's Sami Zayn. That's what's going to be Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. He said the only possible one would be, what does he call it? The Kevin and Sami show or Sami and Kevin show. That's the only one I would want to go by because that's what we say. But anyway, so the tag team of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Who do you got, boy?
My gut, my heart, whatever you want to say, tells me AJ Styles. My head tells me that I don't know.
Yep.
Because I honestly don't know. I'm just like, are they going to make them the first WWE champion? That would be fun, but at the same time, it would put a wrench into my AJ Styles carrying the title into WrestleMania, which he more than deserves to do, and then facing Shinsuke, who's the Royal Rumble winner. So it kind of throws a wrench into that whole thing.
A small one, not a big one.
Yeah, but I just feel like AJ deserves a title match in the main event of WrestleMania, and against Shinsuke would be so perfect. But anyways, not gonna gush about that anymore. Yeah, I feel like AJ probably will, but there's still a voice in my head that's just like, do you know that for sure though? So that's my thought.
I'm agreeing with you. I think I'm agreeing with you in that my head says that Kevin and Sami should win. My heart says AJ should win because of all the things you just said. I don't know. There is an X factor here, and that X factor is Shane McMahon. What is Shane? Well, even Shane and Daniel. What are they going to do in this match? Because the biggest story is Shane hates Kevin and Sami. Like, what is and Daniel's trying to protect them seemingly over AJ Styles. So there's a bigger story here. Even though we can sit here and say, well, it makes sense that AJ Styles is going to win, go into WrestleMania. It makes sense. It also makes sense to make history and having Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn win. Just because these two guys are the quintessential one person and two guys. It just, if anybody were to do it, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn could pull off the whole I'm the WWE champion. We're both WWE champions.
Yeah.
It would make sense. It'd be fun. But it makes sense AJ Styles would win for a lot of the reasons you said. All right. The probable main event, we'll go into the Royal Rumbles at the end. The probable main event, more than likely main event, is the Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman versus Kane triple threat. Brock Lesnar. I put that pause in there because it's like I want Braun to win, but I also wouldn't mind after Roman wins to have another Braun Roman feud. I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that too.
And it could be grandiose and crazy, and then Braun finally wins. And Samoa Joe's in there too, and Finn Balor. Like, we have a bunch of names circling the Universal title on Raw. Not necessarily a whole lot on SmackDown for the WWE Championship, but at least for the Universal title. I mean, anyway. With all that said, Brock's gonna win.
Yeah, Brock's gonna win. Yeah, Nothing else to say.
Kane gets the pin.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
Kane is pinned. Brock
Yeah.
gets the pin.
Brock will pin Kane for sure.
Yeah, I think Braun and Kane will have to work together, or Brock and Kane will have to work together against Braun. I think they do something crazy to make him, like, I think it's almost as if you have to put a vehicle on Braun
Oh, that'd
to
be
keep
crazy.
him down. And then, sorry, I have other things I'll talk about later. I think it'd be cool to put a vehicle on him, and then go back to the ring. Brock and, I don't know how they're gonna do that, but Brock and Kane wrestle for a bit, and then towards the end, Braun pushes it off, but in the last second, you can't get back to the ring in time. That would be fun. All right, 2018 Men's Royal Rumble match. I'll say the lady. You know what? You're gonna main event in my heart, ladies. 2018 Men's Royal Rumble match. Who do you got and why? I think you've already said it.
Yeah, I think I'm still gonna stick with Shinsuke. I still have some doubts swirling in my tummy about it, just because of the whole Roman thing. But like, hopefully they've learned their lesson. With him, it's just like, people think that we're gonna shove Roman down their throats by having him win the Royal Rumble, but I think it makes more sense to have Shinsuke, and I hopefully think that Triple H will have enough say in Vince's ear to get him to do that. So yeah, I'm still sticking with Shinsuke.
Okay. I'm gonna say Pete Dunne. No, I'm just kidding. Pete
That
Dunne.
would be cool,
Pete
though.
Dunne should win
Yeah.
the Royal Rumble. That's my opinion, just because he's a fantastic character. He will be. I almost guarantee he's
Him
gonna
and
be in the
Braun.
Royal Rumble.
Oh,
Him and
so
anybody.
wicked.
Him and anybody would be rad. Yeah, Shinsuke is probably gonna win it. I agree with you. Unless the last minute they're like, no, we're gonna do Roman Reigns. I don't think that's what's gonna happen. Shinsuke is gonna win. More than likely, Shinsuke is gonna win. So yeah. All right, 2018 women's Royal Rumble match. Unless they pull the trigger on Ronda Rousey, unless she's a horrible, horrible liar, Asuka's gonna win. Who you got?
Nobody's ready for Asuka.
Nobody's ready for Asuka. Not even Ronda Rousey.
No, not even Ronda Rousey. Yeah, I think it will be Asuka. I think it would be cool to have, the first Japanese winner of the Men's Royal Rumble, and then to have the first winner of the Women's Royal Rumble be Japanese. Like, I think that would be so cool. So, you're doing, like, it would just be a cool instance to do, I think. And WWE is all about making history now, and equal, equal time, and equal equality for everybody, which is totally cool. And so yeah, I think it'd be awesome to have both of them do it, and I think that's what will happen. So
I think James Ellsworth comes back and wins it. No,
yeah, that's one thing. Somebody said the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble has to be clear.
Yeah.
He's like this guy who was like, I don't want a guy dressed as a girl to win it. I don't want I don't want James Ellsworth to come back and help Carmella win it. He goes, I want it to be a clear, distinct winner. And I was like, I agree.
Yeah.
But for the first one, you can't do a goofy finish or an unclear finish.
Yeah, and the whole Carmella winning it thing gets into, well, she's got the Money in the Bank thing as well.
Yeah.
It gives her two opportunities, and I mean, I guess that could work. You could probably do it, but
yeah.
Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. We only have a couple minutes because you got to get to class. All right, NXT Takeover. We'll go ahead and go through it real quick. Probably no conversation necessarily needed.
Yeah.
All right, the first match we have Cassius Ohno versus Velveteen Dream. Who you got?
Oh no! Oh no! Huh. No, it's not. No, it's Velveteen.
I was like, are you serious?
I just love his theme song. It's so rad.
It is. I love it.
Yeah, it's Velveteen Dream. The dude's super talented, and he's totally got something that works. And I feel like especially after that match with Aleister Black, a couple months ago, they're gonna shoot him into the stratosphere.
Yeah. They're high on Velveteen Dream, and rightfully so after the last match. I think he wins. I think Cassius Ohno will probably be called up relatively soon. And he might even be in the Royal Rumble. We'll see. The Undisputed Era versus the Authors of Pain for the NXT Tag Team Championships. The Undisputed Era are the champions at this point in time.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they won the belts.
I know. That's the reason why I said that.
That's crazy.
Sorry.
Didn't know that. I
Sorry,
thought Sanity still
I guess
had
it's
him.
my turn. No, they don't. The Authors of Pain apparently won the right to have this match this past week. I haven't watched NXT in a month. I did read the spoilers, so I do know a little bit. Anyway, I think Undisputed Era wins. I think Authors of Pain time at NXT is coming to an end. I think they're getting ready to be called up sometime. So I think Undisputed Era wins.
Ditto.
Next match we have, I'll do that one after this one. Aleister Black versus Adam Cole. I do believe it's an Extreme Rules match.
Oh,
It's gonna be one of the best matches of the weekend.
That might be one of the best matches of the year when all is said and done.
That's true.
It definitely has that potential. Oh man, that's awesome. I think Aleister Black. I think they're gonna continue to build him as a top NXT guy, and even though Adam Cole's amazing, I feel like Aleister Black. I feel like Adam Cole could take a loss with no problem. Just because I feel like just because he's so over and he's so great, but I feel like Aleister Black kind of needs to continue with his momentum, and then eventually build up to coming up through the main roster. Where my fantasy scenario is next year at WrestleMania, which should take place at Wembley Stadium in London, big crowd of 80, 90, 100,000 people, or however big it is. Have him win the Royal Rumble and then main event it against Braun Strowman, the Universal Champion, and then win. That's my fantasy scenario because I want to see Aleister Black and Braun Strowman so bad. So, but anyways, yeah, coming back to this.
You think Aleister?
I think Aleister Black will
win. They have two options. Either they continue to push Adam Cole the way they've been pushing him, and have the Undisputed Era come in and just devastate Aleister Black, or they properly book Aleister Black to be a monster, not necessarily a monster like Braun, but a lethal, like just tear up the people, and have those two come in Undisputed Era with Adam Cole and Aleister Black just lay all three of them out. He's a bigger guy than those three guys. I think that's what they need to do. I think they need to have Aleister Black look as amazing as possible, eventually to win the belt. I believe from Almas, because I think Almas will probably be called up really soon. Sadly, I think they'll probably put him on 205 Live. He may be bigger than I think he is, which I'll look later. But anyway, I personally think Aleister Black should win that match, but it could go either way. It will be at least one of the best matches of the weekend. Yeah. All right, main event: Andrade Cien Almas with Zelina Vega versus Johnny Gargano. Who you got and why? Or is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn. Yeah. Sure, go.
Almas wins because Ciampa's coming back, and I'm ready for Gargano and Ciampa. That will be probably the best match of ever. Their match.
That will be a 7-star match, Mr. Meltzer.
Yeah, Mr. Meltzer, come at me.
That'll be a 7-star match.
Yeah, Almas wins because of Ciampa.
Yeah, I was kind of having that same thought. So yeah, that's what I think as well.
Awesome.
Cool. All right, so real quick before we wrap it up and go home, any real quick surprise entrance for either of the Royal Rumbles?
I think Ono. I think Lars Sullivan. I think a lot. There's apparently nine slots for NXT women. I think we'll get a lot of called up for there. I think Ember Moon probably will be. Oh, I forgot about that movie. Ember Moon versus Shayna Baszler.
Ember Moon.
I think Shayna's going to win, and I think Ember will be called up relatively soon. And I hate that because I think Ember needs to have the belt for a long time. But NXT is super high on the MMA train, and so I think Shayna will win. Sorry, I think Ember Moon will probably be in the Women's Royal Rumble. I think you're right about Kelly Kelly. I think she'll be in it. I think Beth Phoenix. I think probably Trish, maybe. Maybe Lita. I would love to see Jake the Snake. I think it was one of the things people
that'd be cool. Yeah.
He's actually said he's like, I just want some redemption at Royal Rumble. I think that would be a decent time to bring him back this year or next year. What about you?
Like you said, I think in the women's, I think Kelly Kelly and Beth Phoenix. I think they'll be in it for sure. And then I was thinking maybe Lita too. Other than that, I can't think of anything. Like maybe Trish. Like she's still in good shape and stuff. So I think maybe she could. But as far as that goes, I can't think of any.
Maurice is going to be in
Marie.
Holy cow, she was pregnant. Anyway, I just
I
needed to
know,
say that.
yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Maurice and Canellis.
Yeah. I didn't know both. I didn't know she was pregnant.
I knew she was pregnant, but I didn't know that she was that far along. She looked as pregnant, not as pregnant as Maurice, but
Yeah.
Maurice was huge. Holy cow! Good for her.
Yeah,
Good for them.
for sure. That's awesome. So yeah, that's about all the women I can think of who I think will come back. I think for sure Kelly and Beth Phoenix were. Beth Phoenix will. If I'm wrong, I'll eat that crow. I don't care. And then for the men's, I think Cassius is a safe bet. I think I think that's a good bet. Didn't come into my head.
I think Sanity will be called up soon. I think all Sanity and Nikki Cross too. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nikki Cross coming up for the Rumble would be really cool. I think that'd be awesome. But dang it, I totally had one. I think if you wanted to bring back Rock and Batista, this would be a fun time to do it. But I don't think either of them will. Batista has stated that he'd love to come back, but I don't think he's coming back yet. If he does,
it doesn't look anything set up for that.
Yeah, I think Jericho could make an appearance in it. He probably won't win, but I think he could make an appearance in it for sure. But yeah, I think it would be cool if he came in and then the very next entrant was Kenny Omega, but we know that's probably not gonna happen.
No.
And stuff. Samoa Joe returning from injury, maybe in it.
I don't think so. I think he's got a couple more weeks. He's more hurt than they thought.
And maybe Big Show.
Possibly Jeff Hardy. I think there's a possibility.
Jeff, that'd be good if he could
Big
come
Show.
back for that. But
yeah.
And I think Lashley. I think he might.
Lashley and EC3.
I think EC3. That's the guy. Yeah. I think Bobby Lashley will come back in the Rumble because he wants to come back to WWE and they really, really want him back.
Lashley and Braun.
Oh man, that'd be crazy. Yeah, so yeah, those are just some names. Like, who knows what'll happen? I'm sure it'll be fun to watch though. So cannot wait.
Just get on the WWE and be like, all right, let's go down the list.
Yeah, right. just read off all the people. So, well, that was Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble show, the Royal Rumble special, whatever you want to call this episode. Well, yeah, that's it. Heard it here, you heard it first. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. We will see you next week, where we will discuss these things that we just discussed. We will discuss the fallout of them. So, go forth, my good gents, and make disciples of all wrestlers. I don't know what I'm saying.
Words.
Well, see you guys next week.
Peace.